yeah. I don't believe in destiny, I just do what's best for me. Don't listen to my enemies, they're just full of jealousy, yeah.
You know, later, next time he saw the girl, she started telling him how she had done a ritual with his hair in the woods and his life was gonna end and yada yada yada. And 30 years later, he is telling me this story, so obviously whatever type of magic she was using, she didn't go to Hogwarts because she wasn't very good at using it. Moral of the story on this one is definitely stay away from girls that tell you that they go in the woods and cast spells with squirrels, because chances are they're a psychopath. Or, you know, keep dating them, get yourself on Dateline, whatever you really want. You know, I think the weird part about this is in college, I had a girl that thought she was a witch and put a crush on me, so I guess me and my uncle are just, you know, really just vibing. We got that same spiritual level. Anyways, guys, on that note, that's gonna do it for the video. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to press the like button, comment down below, and subscribe if you're new. And if you're subscribing, you might as well turn on those notifications, alright? So that way you know when I upload, because I upload videos like this pretty often. And if you do and send a screenshot to my Instagram at Scrubby, I shout somebody out every day. Today's notification shout out goes to Chard Gang 380. Big thank you for having on those notifications. That note, guys, have yourselves a good one. If you want to support the channel, check out the merch in the link down below. And yesterday I asked the Twitter question, what's the cringiest thing you've ever seen? And the best answers were my grandma's DMs. Well, man, you can't help it if your grandma is in fact a gilf. I wish you the best, but something tells me grandma and donuts at school might be a little awkward. Some girls are renegade for my talent show. I don't think these kids realize that TikToking is not actually a talent. Every scrubby video. Yeah, man, I can't blame you. My videos are in fact pretty cringe. I'm not gonna lie. But on that note, guys, have yourselves a good day. You know the saying, don't get anyone pregnant. If you do, make sure they're hot. And hopefully I will see you guys tomorrow with another video. Have a good one. Get your homework done. And I'm out. Peace.
Tired of using your gross mop? WetJet uses a fresh pad. It's a cleaner way to clean.
On the fucking alt tab real quick,
Those
the Lake Scrubs
emotions,
video.
They were put on hold by time, but at Claire's bridal
And
weekend
now we're on
at
the
Verbo
fucking
Beach
ad.
House, those emotions also made the trip.
Fuck.
Your Together awaits. Find it with Verbo.
Holy fuck. Yo, where'd they get all these mobs from?
What's
Holy
going on,
fuck.
guys? It's your boy Scrubby here, back again with another video. Hope you guys are all having a great day. I know I am. If you are, be sure to press the like button. Otherwise, no joke, no scam. Your kid will be a nerd. Yeah, that's right, guys. I know most of you aren't parents yet, or at least hopefully you're not. But if you don't press the like button, then your kid will 100% be the dude drinking milk bottles in the corner of the lunchroom while eating glue. Today, I've got a story about the most savage kid to basically ever exist. You know, a real, one-of-a-kind type of guy. It's this kid that I've been seeing at the skate park every day for like a week now that is just the most entertaining person that I've ever seen. And I know you guys are gonna be entertained because I officially got, you know, enough stories about this kid to hit that sweet 10-minute mark. So, yeah, without further ado, let's get into the video. I've been going to the skate park more recently, okay? I'm a little bit older now, so running around getting yelled at and kicked out of good street spots isn't as fun as it used to be. So whenever I feel like skating, I just go to the skate park. And for the most part, you know, I don't know a ton of the people there. A lot of the kids there, I'm just too old to really know. And I'm not really out there trying to be homies with everybody. One day, I'm chilling at the skate park, and I'm just doing my thing, skating around, and this little kid who can't be older than 11 walks up to me wearing a Pikachu shirt and basically is like, yo, do you have any money? Because I really want to go to the ice cream man, and my parents won't give me any money. And I'm like, damn, this kid's kind of direct, you know? He's really out here hustling. This man really wants his ice cream, just walking around asking strangers for bands. And there's another guy there who was like 24, and I figured it was his little brother or his kid or something. So I'm like, sorry, dude, I don't have any cash on me. And the kid's like, oh, yeah, whatever. They take card, though. Like, totally trying to get me to go buy him ice cream. And I just thought it was funny, you know, because this little kid really didn't care, bruh. He was just asking people for money. He didn't care. And so a little bit later, you know, I'm skating around, and I walk up to that guy who was around my age, like I said, who's 24. And I tell him, you know, oh, your little brother's super funny. And I tell him the story about the kid asking for money. And he looks at me and goes, bro, I thought it was your little brother because he came up to me and asked me for money. And this is right before school got out, so we are the only 3 people in the skate park. This other older kid is like kids. And so we realized that this kid, we don't know who he's here with. He's just here alone at the skate park in the middle of the day. And not wanting to be somebody that just lets like this 11-year-old kid who ran away from home chill at the skate park all day. I walk up to him and I'm like, all right, let's go get you this ice cream, you know? And there's like this food truck thing that's always parked there that has like fancy ice cream at the skate park, which is a pretty weird place to sell fancy ice cream, but whatever. Me and this other dude and this kid go over there and we get him ice cream and we're just talking to him, trying to make sure that like somebody knows he's here and he didn't just escape from the local elementary school, like, you know, an escaped prisoner. And he starts telling us that like he's homeschooled and his mom sleeps a lot, so whenever she's asleep, he just comes to the skate park. Like this poor kid, you know, is just wandering around the neighborhood because his mom passes out every day. And he starts, you know, telling us about how he like, really loves all the stuff at the skate park and how he has a ton of fun doing it. And he's using like a razor scooter from, you know, 2003 to whip around this place. It was so beat up that the handles were like foam, but the foam had ripped off, so he was just going down jumps holding metal in his hand. Probably not really comfortable to do it. But this kid is just funny, dude. He's making us laugh and talking to us, and he seems pretty chill. So we get him ice cream, and, you know, we kind of decide that we're friends now. Like, we're all kind of homies, all right? If he's at the skate park and I'm at the skate park, I'm going to make sure nothing bad happens to the kid. But for the most part, he's just minding his own business, doing his thing with his razor scooter. I don't want to interrupt, and I do think the kid's entertaining. Like, he's savage enough to just walk up to people and start asking for money when he doesn't even know them. That's pretty entertaining to keep around and just watch the shenanigans. So a couple days later, I go back to the skate park, and sure enough, dude, that kid is there, and so is that other dude, you know? And it kind of becomes this routine where every couple days I would go to the skate park and hang out, and almost without fail, this kid and this other BMX dude are there. And, you know, we just start vibing and we're hanging out, and the kid starts to be like, hey, can I borrow your skateboard every now and then? So whenever, you know, I was getting tired, I would just kind of go sit on the side, get on my phone, check Instagram, and just let the kid ride my skateboard. Except one day he goes, yo, let me ride your skateboard. I'm like, all right, dude, here you go. So I give it to him, and I start checking my phone, and I'm not really paying super close attention to whatever he's doing, mainly because at this point, you know, the kid who I'm gonna name Trevor for the rest of this video would just ride around the skate park and do his thing. But to this time, as I'm looking at my phone, I start hearing the shrieking of what can only be a Karen going ballistic if a kid, you know, is doing something she doesn't approve of. So I start looking around, looking for the source of a soccer mom yelling, and over on the playground, which is like 200 feet away, I see a soccer mom yelling at the roof of the bathroom. And I don't know if you guys have these types of bathrooms at your park, but it's like a building with a slanted metal roof on the side that almost looks like it's like a ramp. And sure enough, there's a soccer mom looking at it yelling, and I look up, and the kid, who's like 11 years old, still wearing the same Pokemon shirt he had with a Charizard on it, is standing up there looking like he's about to try to drop in off the roof. And this kid is just smiling like crazy as he goes off the roof, and he drops in, and this little kid goes flying down the side of the bathroom roof, drops off, hits the ground, and falls off the skateboard. So I like run over there to make sure this kid didn't split his ankles, and he is laughing. And the soccer mom is already over the top of him being like, oh my god, you could have hurt yourself. Do you have any idea like how dangerous that was? And he gets up, he's like, yeah, Karen, whatever. And she's like, where's your parents? I can't believe that you would be so irresponsible to launch yourself off the roof. And this 11-year-old kid starts being like, whatever, Karen. Like, okay, Karen, all right, you're not my mom. You can't tell me what to do.
Boomer.
And he's arguing with this lady because he just dropped off the roof of the bathroom. Just totally sent it. Fails, ate it, and is laughing. Like, this kid just really doesn't care. The man is an absolute savage. Like, when I say this kid is a savage, he really is. He's arguing with the soccer mom after he just jumped off the roof on his skateboard just to YOLO it, you know? Hey, kid can't kickflip, never done an ollie, doesn't matter. Throw yourself off the roof of the bathroom, I guess, which I don't recommend. Don't try that one at home, boys. The kid is just a savage. Like, he's arguing with this soccer mom, and she's like, that's it. I'm gonna take you home. Where do you live? And he's like, whatever, lady, get your hands off me. I'm staying. So, you know, this is like this kid. The first week I know him, he's throwing himself off bathrooms, and he just becomes entertaining, you know, and he's hilarious. And then he starts, you know, coming up to me and talking to me more because obviously after the soccer mom's yelling at him and he threw himself off the roof with my skateboard, I felt a little more responsible for him, you know, like I gotta make sure this kid doesn't throw himself off a roof again because then I just feel like, you know, if I endorsed that, I would be a bad role model, and I can't do that to everyone out there. So the kid would just start like learning how to throw himself down stuff. There's these stairs in the skate park, and he's trying to jump down them with his razor scooter without grips. Like, The kid is just a savage. He doesn't care. It's like Johnny Knoxville, you know, fighting a bull. You're like, hey, maybe you shouldn't do that. He doesn't care. The kid just likes to do crazy stuff for the fun of it. So, whatever. Me and this dude, you know, like I said, are just keeping an eye on this kid, making sure he's never into trouble. I don't know where the kid's parents are. His mom was never there. His dad was never there. He was always there at like 11 a.m. whenever I would go, and that other dude on the BMX bike was there because he worked nights. Like, we don't really know what's up with this kid. He shows up, he's always got clean clothes on, he's always, well, he's never starving, so I guess they're taking care of him. I don't really know what's up, but the kid's a unit willing to basically jump down anything on a Razor scooter, and he's funny and he's interesting to keep around for entertainment. Plus, I was just making sure he wasn't getting into too much trouble. But one day, the BMX dude brings his girlfriend, who, keep in mind, is like 23, and this kid is the funniest thing I've ever seen. So, you know, I get introduced to his girlfriend, and we start telling her about this kid that's always hanging around, and she's like, I know, my boyfriend's been telling me all about it. So I'm telling her and him about the soccer mom thing because he wasn't there to witness it. And the kid walks up to the girl and, like, you know the thing where they lean against the wall in the movies, like against the locker to hit on the girl, and it's supposed to look all smooth? And this 11-year-old starts hitting on this dude's 23-year-old girlfriend, being like, hey baby, you know, I can treat you like a man, like I may be short but I'm tall where it counts. He's like just hitting on this girl, and we're laughing, and she's obviously like, she's not playing along with it, but she's, you know, laughing at it because the kid's just, you know, being flirting with this girl and being slick. So, you know, he starts being like, oh, come watch me do tricks. So he's hitting on this dude's girlfriend, you know, he's like trying to hold her hand and like show her how to ride a Razor scooter. The kid is just a savage, dude. He really doesn't, like, it's just the most savage 11-year-old you ever seen, dude. This kid's on a Razor scooter with a fidget spinner just whipping around the park trying to steal your girlfriend if anyone's at the skate park. But the one thing amongst all this, hitting on girlfriends, throwing himself off bathrooms, being a savage to soccer moms, is he was always asking to borrow my skateboard, like, all the time. So the kid was entertaining. I was kind of hanging out with him, and not hanging out with him, you know, I wasn't my best friends as a kid, but I would just make sure that he wasn't getting into trouble. So me and the BMX dude decided that we were gonna get him a skateboard. He had some old trucks laying around. I like to skate. I've got a couple decks that I like wasn't really skating, so we decided to give him a skateboard, and we gave it to him, and he was like so hyped, and ever since, you know, he's been progressing a lot. It's just been funny to watch him, like, learn how to skate. So, you know, this video, I guess, is dedicated to the kid that is an absolute savage at the skate park. If you're ever going to go there, I'm not going to say what skate park it is. I would be careful to bring your girlfriend because homeboy does spit some mad game, you know. He's an absolute unit, and he will 100% steal your girl. Honestly, guys, I know this is a pretty innocent story. It's not that big of a deal. Like, it's not too crazy, but it's just something that makes my day a little bit better is watching this kid just be a savage. So, yeah. On that note, guys, that's gonna do it for the video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to press the like button. Let me know in the comment section down below what you thought. Subscribe if you're new, and turn on those notifications. If you turn on notifications, send a screenshot to my Instagram at Scrubby. I shout somebody out every day. Today's shout out goes to Scrubby with an N for
what? Do you want a piece of chicken with that? But mommy's probably not gonna cook dinner tonight. If you want, I can heat up one of my pieces of chicken. Throw it in there with it. Oh man.
You big thank you for having on those notifications. Cop yourself the merch if you haven't already, if you really want to support the channel. And remember that kids on Razor scooters do have a 300% chance of stealing your girlfriend. On that note, guys, don't get anyone pregnant. If you do, make sure they're hot, and hopefully I'll see you guys next time with another video. I'm out.
We've been working really well together.
Boom! It's the calm before the divorce.
We are not your parents.
I was talking about my own divorce, although both apply, actually.
What's going on, guys? It's your boy Scrubby here, back again with another video. Hope you guys are all having an absolutely fantastic day. I know I am. If you are, be sure to press the like button. Otherwise, no joke, no scam, you'll get pregnant. Yeah, that's right. The #1 rule is don't get anyone pregnant, but if you don't press the like button, you're gonna have a kid of your own. Anyways, guys, what's going on? I've got a story time today about arguably the craziest thing I've ever heard of somebody doing. Just a real savage story that I heard from a homeless man in a 7-Eleven. Your typical story. story time. And by typical, I mean not super typical, okay? It's not every day that just any homeless dude in a grocery store or a corner store starts telling you his life story. But regardless, the story he told me was pretty entertaining, so I figured I'd make a video on it because homeboy actually thought he was living in a Grand Theft Auto game back in the 80s. And yeah, without further ado, let's get into the video. So this actually happened about a year ago. I was on a road trip down to LA for the weekend, you know, and we had to stop and get gas because surprisingly most cars can't drive from Las Vegas to LA on a single tank. So we stopped to get gas, and a couple of the people that I with had to use the bathroom, so I was like, whatever, I'll go inside and get a drink. So we're in the middle of California, like the desert side, not the nice side. The type of California where when somebody's like, oh, I'm from there, you say, oh, so you get all the negatives of California without any of the good stuff. And I'm standing there by the fridge trying to decide what I want to drink, and this homeless dude is just standing there behind me staring at me. And I'm not really sure what he's looking at. I'm not really sure if he like wants to talk to me, but he's just staring at me. So after a bit, I turn and just like look at him, you know, and not even in like a weird way, just a very, hey man, like what's up? Do you want to talk to me if you want to talk to me type of way? And he looks at me and he says, yo, how's your day going? I'm like, good. So I'm having a conversation with this random homeless dude in the middle of this corner store. And we're just talking about how our days are going. He asks me where I'm going. I'm saying we're road tripping to LA. And he's like, yeah, that's crazy. I got arrested when I was 7. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. You know, I guess that's really neat. That's a weird opening line, you know. Oh, what are you doing here? You're road tripping to LA? That's sick. Yeah, I got arrested when I was a child. And you're like, what? Okay, well, good for you, man. I'm glad things worked out. Obviously, you ended up getting out. And he starts saying, yeah, you know, when I was 7, I had to go to juvie and like I had a court case because I ran from the cops. And I'm like, wait, hold on. My friends are still in the bathroom. So I look at him and I go, all right, tell me the story. What happened when you were 7? And he starts smiling the way that somebody who really wanted an excuse to tell this story does. And he says, all right, so basically when I was a boy, and he starts telling me his life story. I'm gonna trim out most of the boring bits, you know, because it's not super important, but he starts telling me his life story. And by the time he's wrapping up the life story and gets to finally being 7 years old, my friends are out of the bathroom and they're gathering around me because obviously I'm looking at this homeless dude very intensely because I want to hear the story. So he's got a whole crowd around him of like 4 people now, and he starts telling us about how when he was 7, he was a bit of a pudgy kid. He was telling us, you know, he was like, yeah, I was a little fatty and my mom had taken me to this buffet across town. And obviously I love the buffet because when you're a chubby kid, there's nothing better than unlimited food. That's literally like the main thing that you want when you're a chubby little kid is a bunch of food. So they went to the buffet and he had a great time. And he loved the buffet so much that he wanted to go back the next day. But obviously his mom's like, no, we're not going to go to the buffet twice, you know. It's expensive. It costs a lot of money. And his family was pretty poor growing up. So he's like, no, you can't go to the buffet. So he decides, you know, that he doesn't like that word, the word no. He doesn't really want to listen to it. His mom said no going to the buffet, but he doesn't care. So his mom goes to take a nap later in the day, you know, and he's just being a 7-year-old self on a Saturday morning. His mom's asleep at like 11 a.m. and he's like, well, I'm gonna go to the buffet, and my mom isn't awake to stop me, so even though she said no, it doesn't really matter, you know, at all, because she can't stop me if she's asleep. So he lived in this tiny town where there was basically only one road, so he decides that he's just gonna drive himself to the buffet. But the way this town is located is there's like one main road, but it's about 20 minutes away from the big city. So he starts driving his mom's car as a 7-year-old, can't really see over, can barely touch the gas pedals, and he just starts driving down the main road in his town. And obviously, it's obvious to everybody that there's not an adult driving the car. So the one cop in his town pulls him over, and somehow the kid gets to the side of the road, you know, and the cop walks up to the side of the car, looks in the window, knocks, and tells the kid to unlock the door. And for whatever reason, this kid, as a 7-year-old, you know, is terrified now because he doesn't want to get in trouble. His mom had always told him, you know, if the police ever pull you over, that means you're in trouble. Or she would be like, I'll call the police if you're being a bad boy. And obviously, as a 7-year-old, he knows stealing his mom's car was not the brightest idea he's ever had. Like, it's not the most big brain idea as a 7-year-old to commit a felony. That's just usually not the best. So he's terrified. And the cop probably wouldn't have done anything.
You're
like
fucking
I said,
7
like
and
20,
commit
30
Grand
minutes
Theft
away from
Auto.
the big town. town. So what the kid decides to do when the cop tells him to unlock the door is, well, I'm gonna get in trouble either way, and little 7-year-old him decides to put his head to the point where he can no longer see over the dashboard and slam the gas and just go flying down the road. So obviously now this child is in a police chase, but he's even more scared now because there's sirens behind him and a cop is chasing him. So after 20 minutes of just slamming on the gas, little 7-year-old manages to avoid making any accidents, which is honestly the most surprising part of this story. And like I said, his family was not like in a very good financial situation, so they didn't have a ton of gas. So he's nearing the big city, and there's like 3 cop cars waiting for him on the road into the big city. Like this tiny cop had called ahead and been like, look, I've got a 7-year-old on a joyride, which has got to be the most entertaining cop call of all time. Like, you're used to just depressing calls of like, yes, I have another child that has been kidnapped by a clown let loose on this town that is single-handedly going to destroy America. And then one comes through and it's like, yeah, I've got a 7-year-old that thinks he's in a Need for Speed movie. I need backup stats. So obviously this kid gets into town and there's a little roadblock. So the kid finally comes to a stop and the officers like run up, break the driver's side window, you know, get glass all over the place. And this is back in the day, so it's not like the safety glass we have now, you know. He shows us that he's got like a scar on his nose from where one of the pieces of glass cut him. Take the keys out of the ignition and like yank the kid out of the car. And we're like, what happened? Are you still scared? He's like, obviously I'm scared. You know, I'm in a city I'm not from with like one person that kind of knows me because it was just the cop from this small town, and they're all yelling at me, asking me like what distraction I caused. And obviously I know I'm gonna get in trouble because my mom doesn't even know that I'm gone. So they're trying to figure out what to do with the car. So the cop from my town calls the tow truck from my town, and they come and tow the car back to town. It's like a 20-minute tow ride. They take me to the house and knock on the door. And the best part is, his mom was still asleep, bro. Like, the mom was still napping, which, I mean, does not bode very well for your momming skills, all right? I'm not trying to call anybody out, but if your 7-year-old can go on like a 25-minute joyride in your car without you noticing, then I think you might want to work on your supervision skills, bro.
Get some help.
Like, imagine how tired you have to be to just like pass out. You wake up with cops banging on your door because your kid decided to steal your car and go on a joyride because he wanted a buffet. Like, bruh, you know childhood obesity is bad if you're committing felonies to go to the buffet, all right? That's not something you should be insanely proud of. Yeah, that's right. The first crime I ever committed was just for some Twinkies. My caloric intake is high and my diabetes chances are even higher. But you know what? I don't care because I'm too. So, we asked him how much trouble he got into, and he said tons. He was grounded basically until he was like 10, because remember that his mom now had to pay for a tow truck to bring the car back, a 20-minute tow ride, not to mention the talk of the town, because they lived in a small town, was this kid. But, you know, there is positives, because I guess he was basically the coolest kid in school forever, because obviously you would be, you know what I mean? Like, even in high school, dude, if you're from a small town and you're known as the 7-year-old who's a savage out there committing felonies, that's some pretty solid street cred. I don't really know if it helped him out a bunch, because he was homeless in California 30 years later, but regardless, I hope the dude had a good day, and, you know, all things considered, it's not that bad. Like, it's a pretty good story, and life's kind of all about just getting stories, you know, you gotta live that swagged out life. Regardless, we were so entertained by the story that we ended up going into, like, the McDonald's that was connected, got him some lunch, and then heard more about his life story, and he told us some pretty crazy stuff. So if you guys like this series and you want to hear more about this dude's life, I did write down the best parts, and if you guys are interested, let me know in the
just give the
comment
fuck
section
up already, kid. You ain't winning.
Yeah, that's the story of how a 7-year-old ended up taking his mom's car on a joyride, getting in a high-speed chase, eventually getting caught by a police roadblock, and then for whatever reason, you know, his mom was still sleeping and had to wake up to cops banging on the door saying, your son is a moron, which is a pretty solid way to wake up if you're a mom. But on that note, guys, that's gonna do it for the video. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to press the like button. Let me know in the comments section down below what you thought of the video, and if you're new, subscribe with notifications on. I don't know what's going on with YouTube, but my videos have been doing like way worse than normal, and they're not hitting new people. So if you could send this to a friend to support the channel, I would really appreciate it. Today's notification shout out goes to the always fantastic and consistently watching the videos. Oh, and Mr. 49, big thank you for having on those notifications. Want a notification shout out? Turn on the notifications, send a screenshot to my Instagram at Scrubby. And on that note, guys, that's gonna do it for the video. Have yourselves an incredible day. Don't get anyone pregnant. If you do, make sure they're hot, and hopefully I'll see you guys next time with another video. I'm out. Peace. What's going on, guys? It's your boy Scrub here, back again with another video. Hope you guys are all having a fantastic day.
What is this crackhead?
I'm actually in
25? How the
California
fuck
when
is
you
he
guys are
winning?
seeing this. You know, I made these ahead of
Fucking
schedule,
crackhead.
and you know, if that's pretty swag with you, then be sure to press the like button. Otherwise, no joke, no scam. Pirates will actually attack you when you're on a cruise. Take you, go to the captain's office and make you say, "Look at me, I am the captain now." So this is actually a story from high school. This was a big deal at our school. One of the kids actually ended up destroying a car and got away with it completely while bragging about it. I know what you're thinking. Oh my god, how is that possible? And let me tell you, if I explained it this quick, there wouldn't be a video about it. So let me tell you guys a story time about how this icon somehow managed to get away with the crime of the century and, most importantly, entertain a bunch of people while doing it. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Anyways, guys, one day I go to school and this kid is sitting there and he's got this big smile on his face and he starts telling us that he destroyed a car on the way to school this morning. And I'm like, all right, bet. So tell me the story then if this is legit. Because, like, I don't know about you, but when somebody goes, oh yeah, I destroyed expensive property and I'm not in jail right now, I just have a hard time believing it. Usually I'm like, oh yeah, sure you did. You know, you destroyed a car and you're sitting here in class instead of getting interrogated by somebody. Anyways, across the street from my school was this crosswalk that most kids that like lived in the neighborhood would take. And whenever I walked to school, I had to cross it too. And for the most part, it's pretty safe, except for like the 5 minutes before school starts. Because whenever it's 5 minutes before school starts, people just forget how to drive and cars like will get super aggro in the crosswalk. I almost got hit basically every other day. It was super common for kids to get hit at the crosswalk. Like, it wasn't rare. People just forgot how to drive whenever it was about time. And this kid lived near my neighborhood. Like, he would cross the same road, you know? And like I said, it was pretty common for cars to suck. And there started to be, like, just almost infamous people that were really terrible at driving at our school.
Fuck,
And you would
how the
just
hell
know
did he win
their
that?
cars based on how
That's so
bad they were.
garbage.
Like, we almost got hit by certain cars so much we just started identifying them, you know?
Fucking
Which is not a
bullshit,
good thing.
man.
Like, it
That's
should not
fucking
be a good
bullshit.
thing
That's
that everybody
totally
knows that
bullshit.
you're...
Say goodbye to the night.